Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell. Lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry, and with me, of course, is Lee Cockerell himself, the retired Executive Vice President of Walt Disney World. How are you doing, Lee?
Well, I'm good here in Orlando. We're starting to see summer arriving, so we're going to get 96 degrees for the next 3 days. So my electric bill on my air conditioner is going to be spinning, but that's otherwise everything's fine.
Well, here in Washington State, we have spring arriving, which means it's going to rain a lot. And we do not have air conditioning here, so I don't have to worry about that.
God bless you.
There are about 2 days a year I wish we had it.
Yeah, exact.
Well, you're going on the road here soon, Lee. By the time we do the next episode, you will have gone to France. It's been a little while since you've been there.
Yeah, heading over to France, to Provence for my granddaughter Margot's wedding. And we're excited about that. She and Rob, she picked a great guy and he picked a great lady. And so the wedding's going to be there because all their French relatives want to be involved. So that's what we're up to. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, Lee, I have a question from a listener that is not about leadership management or customer service. Well, maybe it could be leadership. We'll see. But I thought it was interesting enough to bring up. She talks about she has come to realize the biggest thing holding her back is herself, that she has people in her life that says, oh, look, this is stressing you out. You should quit. Her mother doesn't understand what she does or how she does it. Her family says a lot of things, but she says, even with all of the naysayers, she realizes that it's her that gets in the way, that she sometimes doesn't understand her self-worth. She doesn't have a lot of confidence. So she wants to know, how do you break free from feeling like this?
Yeah, I would say, frankly, that's a good question because I went through that growing up in Oklahoma and never been away from my parents and grandparents and kind of a dysfunctional raising, and everybody has an opinion. And I ended up, I guess, maybe on purpose or lucky that I went in the Army and then left the area and changed to my environment. And that was the one that I broke loose from all those people who have something to help you with and think about and think, people have long memories of who you are. And parents even probably have different reasons that they counsel you on different things. They think they're doing it for your best good. But it's really important, I think, to get out of the environment, go to a new place. And I say the big city for 4 or 5 years, learn what's going on, meet new people. You won't be around all of the environment you grew up in. It'll give you a break. And we know that exposure and experience is really the way you learn. And you get to try things, and you don't have to be around those people who remember who you are or were. It's all new people. You can be new because, some people never forget. And I would think, I even think about that. If I'd have stayed in Oklahoma, people would always remember, Lee, he was okay, but he didn't do that well in school. People have long memories, and that can affect you because it's the way they treat you or the way they give you feedback and the way they have confidence in you. So I think the best way is get out, go do your thing. If you're in your 20s, just go pick a city, Chicago, LA, New York, Chicago. My granddaughter and her husband, I told them to move to Manhattan. They did. They absolutely are different people today. They have changed. They're having a ball. They're having fun. And you need to get away so you can find out who you are without everybody judging you. Because parents are always going to have something, they're, oh, be careful. Don't go, yeah, I'm not sure. My mother would have wanted me to stay in Oklahoma. And that would not be good for me because I would have just been hanging around doing what I'd always done. And all the people, nobody leaves there much. And I got the exposure to people from every country in the world and every religion and every background, and made me a better person. So I would tell her to do that. And she can go off and find out for herself without all of this feedback and everybody giving her their opinion, because And people are a little insecure to make the move. It's a big deal to move when you're like 18, 19, 20 to go off on your own. You wonder, what if I don't get a job or I can't find, you'll always find a job. You'll find something. You can always make money. You can get a job in a restaurant or Washington until you figure it out. But that's for me is I think new environments raise your, and you left home, you went off, you did the different things that you never done before, and you're still doing that. And it's changing the way you think about things. I mean, just your trip to Chile and to Kuwait and to the people now all around. You have a different perspective on many things, I'm sure, than you did 10 or 12, 13 years ago because of those experiences. And you're good at what you do.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that makes me think of two things. One is a number of years ago, I was in my hometown and my mother brought up something that I had done recently and said, "How did you accomplish what you accomplished given where you came from?" And I said, with all the respect, because it's wonderful being where I'm from, I said, I left. And
Exactly.
Part of what mattered is when you leave and you have to figure everything out and there's no safety net and you have to do it. My goodness, that will build self-confidence, one. And two, you'll realize I can't break things that bad. Like it'll have to go really wrong before I'm sleeping on a park bench because things turn out okay.
Absolutely. It will work out. You'll get much more creative when you have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the second part to go with that, when I was just with the Juan Rivers, we went to Chile together. He's the retired vice president of Disney's Animal Kingdom. When he left Disney, retired, he moved from Orlando, where he grew up, and moved to Paris. And he was talking about how wonderful it is, not just because he loves Paris, but he said, in Paris, nobody knows who I am and nobody cares who I am. And it's so refreshing where if I'd stayed in Orlando, everybody knows who I am and what I did. And Paris, it's a fresh start.
That is exactly right. I'm glad you said that again. That's how I felt too. When I left home, nobody knew anything I might have done or what I was or how well I did in this or that. You're absolutely. And that gives you the confidence, hey, do your thing. So I think you left, I left, and I think she probably should leave. And as we said, you can always go back a few years from now if you want to go back, but you won't want to.
Yeah, that's interesting, Lee, that you can go back. And if you do, it's different because you chose to go back rather than have always stayed. I know a lot of people that left home came back 2, 3, 4 years later, and it's so different for them because they chose to be there.
And you got to remember, you're the only one that knows you have low self-confidence. Nobody else knows that.
Yeah.
So just
and chances are most of the other people in the room do as well. So you're not
you're
special.
living in your head.
Yeah. You're not special because you have low
in your
confidence.
head and go live in New York.
There you go. Well,
it's exposure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. So let's take it and say, okay, Lee is absolutely right. Leave. That's the best way to build self-confidence and get over yourself. But if you can't do that, Lee, what are some of the ways that you can stay where you are and start to build yourself up, build some of that confidence?
Well, I think the bigger problem for you or me or her would be psychologically gaining the self-confidence and really being able to bring that up inside us when we're in that environment. That's hard. That's hard to change when you're where you are. So, she can pick something she's really interested in and become a real expert at it. She can go back to school and start studying something, meet people in the university system, which are pretty open. But and when she becomes an expert in something and gets a lot of knowledge in something, her confidence will grow because she'll know and feels comfortable that she's an expert and she can be, she'll be in demand also. When you're an expert, you're always in demand. And so I think she's got to just think about how she leads her life every day and what she's focused on, how she's spending her time, and start spending it in times that are going to grow her knowledge and her self-confidence and her abilities. And then something will happen. As I said, we always talk about how can you be successful? And we always say, be better than everybody around you. Don't do what they're doing. Go do what you want to do and become really good at it. and quit hanging around with people who are not doing good things because they'll get you in trouble. And yeah.
And you only have to know a little bit more than the other person to be an expert. I've heard if you read 3 books on one topic, you'll know more than 95% of everybody on that topic.
I believe that. And yeah, then people will know you're the go-to person. That will start to change the people you meet, the jobs you get, the offers, your travel, all kinds of things. So yeah, that's what you got to do.
There we go. So I think part of it as well in the workplace, start keeping track of the wins that you get, the things that go right, the things that you're thankful for. I think there's something to that if you don't have a lot of confidence in the work you're doing, start producing the evidence that you do know what you're doing and you are being successful, because it will start to mount up pretty quickly. If you can track one thing every single day, every day of the work week on what you know, how well you did, a compliment you got, I think the evidence starts to mount up that, my goodness, I'm telling myself that I'm not very confident, that I don't have much self-worth, but the evidence is beginning to suggest otherwise.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
Well, another way to build some self-esteem, I think, or at least some enjoyment, is to take a vacation. Because if you have a great vacation, my goodness, it's hard to feel bad about yourself. And if you want to have a great vacation, call our friends at Magical Vacation Planner. You can reach them at 407-442-2694. I want to add one more thing to this discussion. If you go to cockerellstore.com, for free, you can get the Morning Magic Planner. I think it's also at leecockerell.com right there for free. If you use that for 30 days, and Lee says you use it for 30 days, you'll never be the same, even if you don't keep using it. But there are questions that you answer every morning on the Morning Magic Planner that I'm confident by the end of 30 days, you will be so good. You'll be getting so much done. You'll feel good about yourself. You'll be so focused on other people, you won't worry so much about your own self-confidence, because you're focused on who needs appreciation, recognition, encouragement today. Who do I need to reach out to today? You'll start looking at things like that, and you won't be focused so inward on yourself. And then that just starts to build a lot of confidence. So Morning Magic Planner, it's at leecockerell.com. It's at cockerellstore.com. And I think that will really give you a boost if you do that for 30 days.
And if you take that vacation you're talking about, take it and don't come back.
Lee, do you think that would work? Can I call Magical Vacation Planner and say, I want to get away and I don't want to come back? Can they help with that?
I want to be dropped at some destination and I'm not coming home. So one-way trip.
One-way trip. Yeah, we need to talk to Magical Vacation Planner and say, look, let's set up some one-way trips. We know some people that need to get out of here and not come back. Maybe you're onto something, Lee.
It could be, it might be fun to do that if you're single. You take a trip and one of the ports you get off and you just don't get back on. See what happens.
Yeah. Well, our friend Jeff Knoll, he usually every summer buys a one-way flight from Orlando to Kalispell, Montana, and just comes back when he feels like it.
Good for him. That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, it's great. And sometimes he'll stay through the summer, come back in October. Sometimes he'll stay 2, 3, 4 weeks and then come back home. It's great. I love that he does that. Well, Lee, this has been a great conversation. If you have a question or a topic you'd like us to discuss, send an email to support@cockerellacademy.com. Until next week, go out and create magic for others.